You're listening to the My Simplified Life podcast, and this is episode number 50. Yay! Welcome to the My Simplified Life podcast, a place where you will learn that your past and even your present don't define your future. Regardless of what stage of life you're in, I want you to feel inspired and encouraged to pursue your dreams, simplify your life, and start taking action today. I'm your host, MSL Collective, and I'm excited to share my stories and life lessons with you while taking you on my own journey. This is My Simplified Life. Holy cow, friends, 50 episodes. I am blown away. I can't believe that it's been a full year. It's been 50 episodes, and having the family just come on to give the intro, that felt right to me. We have so much to celebrate and be thankful for and grateful for. And they've been a part of this whole experience, you know, having me be in the closet and recording and them needing to be quiet or interrupting at times. They're a part of this, you know, just as much as you, the listeners, are, and my guests and myself. So thank you for listening. First of all, I've shared a lot of myself on the show this year, from my journey to finding my sister to my complete career pivot, the ways I want to be remembered. I've cried with you. I've laughed with you, and the tiny humans have made sneaky guest appearances. I've gotten to meet and interview some of the most amazing people, and I've learned something from each and every one of them. I've collaborated beyond a podcast interview, collaborations that have turned into my own podcast appearances, blog posts, webinars, and of course, the biggest one, my podcasting confidence course with Ali Casaza. All of this was made possible because I launched this podcast a year ago. In the matter of a year, I've sat in my closet 50 times to record episodes and interviews with friends, family, authors, women I admire, influencers, and because of these 50 closet moments, I've grown as a person, I've grown my business, and so much more. I thought that in this episode, we could take a trip down my personal memory lane and look at exactly what has changed for me in this past year because of the My Simplified Life podcast. I learned even more about what it means to pivot than I originally thought. I pivoted in my career, as you all know, going from aviation to podcast production and PR, but I also made some pivots along the way with my podcast and my business. When it comes to my business, I went so far as to change the name. It had been My Simplified Life, but I felt that that just didn't fit my vision and ultimately what I was doing. So I changed it to the MSL Collective. I filed for my DBA, I bought a new domain, I changed my logo, and everything else that goes with changing a business name. I've also been able to niche down even more and hone in on my offerings, what I want to do, the direction I want to take my business in. I've gotten more specific and picky when it comes to the clients I work with, and I took chances in reducing some of the services I offer, and it's paid off. Last month, I worked less and I made more. Yes, I know how cliche that sounds, and I've heard people say it time and time again, and just like you, I rolled my eyes and I wanted to call BS. But here's the big but. I now know it can happen because I did it. You're going to hear in next week's episode the theory of the hourglass and how when you get really specific on one thing that you want to do and work on, then your business becomes abundant. I honestly think this is one of my most favorite analogies, and also one that I struggled the most with in the beginning. I wanted to do all the things for all the people all the time. It didn't work for me. And it took figuring out on my own instead of listening to the people who had already experienced this to finally believe it. I guess I'm stubborn, and that's just the way it is. So take it from me and don't be stubborn. Niche down. I've also learned to embrace fear because the possibilities on the other side of fear are so damn incredible and immense that if you don't jump in with both feet, then you have no idea what you could possibly be missing. I've given myself a gift by eliminating the parts of my business that I wasn't enjoying. I'm talking about offering a la carte services and clients that simply weren't a good fit, but that didn't come without fear. I worried that if I didn't offer all the services or work with everyone that came my way, then how would my business grow or succeed? I will say that in the beginning, it was a good learning experience. It allowed me to figure out what I wanted to do and who I wanted to work with. But once I figured that out, it no longer served me to do all the things for all the people. I've embraced the beauty of saying yes and no more often. I'm saying yes to what makes me happy the most. Yes to more time with my kids. Yes to charging more. Yes to offering only select services. Yes to creating a course and more. Yes to collaborations. And I'm saying no to what no longer serves me. I've crossed out times in my calendar to ensure that my time with my kids is protected, such as when school starts in the morning or when my husband's out of town. I've been quote unquote juggling it for long enough. I'm in charge of my calendar and I'm going to ensure it reflects that. I'm mentioning my calendar because for so long, I thought I had to be available all the time for everyone. I was too accommodating. Oh, nothing on my calendar works for you? Then just tell me what does and we can make it happen. Heck, I will make it happen. And I would. I was scared at first. But do you want to know what happened when I started to tell people that I can't do a Friday meeting because I take Fridays off? They were actually overjoyed and said, "Good for you." People thought it was a good thing that I was taking 3-day weekends. Excuse me while I pick my jaw up off the floor. I had only envisioned the opposite happening, and yet it was all in my imagination. For those of you who need to hear that again, it was all in my imagination. I've said time and time again that I'm not a heart surgeon saving lives, so the fact that I don't work Fridays isn't going to be earth-shattering. Let that be a lesson for those of you who think that creating and working a schedule that you're dreaming of is absolutely possible and it's nothing to be ashamed of. I mentioned the word ashamed because there was a part of me that felt ashamed of telling people that I was taking an extra day off every week. And that falls into the good old category of imposter syndrome. Who was I to take off a day of work every single week? What gave me the right to simply decide that one day I was going to have 3-day weekends? I did. I decided, and honestly, my next goal is going to be to take Mondays off too. Yep, I said it. Something else that recently changed the way I work is good old distance learning. We didn't experience this last school year because my son just started kindergarten last month. We've had to swap rooms around, get him to set up on his own workstation that he calls his office, ensure that he's not only ready for school, but to review the teacher's daily lesson plans so he has every worksheet he's going to need for the day, because if he doesn't, he has absolutely no problem hollering, "Mom," and for me to come running up the stairs to find out what he needs. It can be absolutely chaotic and challenging, and yet another reason why I need to ensure I remain flexible in my home life and in charge of my calendar. Now, I just mentioned imposter syndrome, and I want to dive into that a bit more because I honestly thought I never felt that. I never had the thought that I wasn't good enough to do something or didn't have what it took. I had confidence in myself. I freaking sat at the table in the conference room when I was told to sit in the corner, for crying out loud. And then a huge opportunity came knocking on my door and I said yes. But then as the days went on, fear crept in. What if I didn't know enough? What about the fact that I wasn't well known? And you want to know what I did about that? First, I did talk to Ted about it, but then I wrote down all of the reasons of why the hell not. Why wouldn't someone want to create something incredible with me? Who cares if I don't have 1 million followers? I have knowledge, and that is worth so much. I not only have that knowledge, but I know how to break it down for others to understand. I have experience, and so on and so on. I wrote down all of the reasons of why I am worthy and capable, and I read those reasons whenever I felt a twinge of fear creeping in. Kick that fear and imposter syndrome out the door because it is not serving you, nor is it serving the people who are waiting to learn from you, hear from you, and be inspired by you. I've learned that we do all have stories to share that will change the lives of others. When I started recording a year ago, I honestly didn't have an expectation to hear from strangers or to impact someone's life. Podcasting was a platform that I thought would be great for my business and a way to record my thoughts and feelings. I had no idea that at some point I would get messages and emails from complete strangers who have said that something I said not only resonated with them, but made them start their business or their podcast. It helped push them past the fear that they'd been holding on to. That blows me away, and I am so grateful to be able to impact just one person in such a way. This is the power of podcasting, and this is why I preach on it and the power of it. As a podcaster, you truly have the power to change lives, to make an impact, and ultimately to change the world. You can speak to people around the world. You can create relationships and friendships. You can grow your business and learn new things. And yes, I can finally say I have found my passion and my purpose. 2 years ago, I had no idea what I wanted to do or would even do for my career. 18 years of my life had been dedicated to one industry, and leaving that was most certainly scary. I knew how to do my job. I had made connections and forged relationships with people that knew me and trusted me. And then I took a chance. I decided to go down the path that was unknown to me, unknown to my family, and to seek out what I was put on this planet to do. I made a decision to not just change my career, but to start my own business in an industry that was completely new to me. I decided to host my own podcast and share with the world who I was, what my journey looked like, and reach out to complete strangers because I wanted to hear about their journey. I used my voice to show all of you that you can absolutely make a career switch. You can launch that dream business. You can succeed, and it can be in an area that you know nothing about, but have fallen completely in love with. You will learn all there is to know in time. But the key is to enjoy what you do. You will figure out how to make money doing what you love. I firmly believe that because I'm doing it. I know it's possible. I also know it's possible to find a type of work that you enjoy doing. Something that you want to get out of bed and work on each and every day, even if it means working long hours at times. Not only is it possible, but I think it's necessary. We are only on this earth for so long, so why waste our time doing things we don't enjoy? I understand that some jobs are necessary because we need to have an income, we need insurance, a roof over our heads. But if that's the case, then work towards finding something that does make you happy. Start doing it. I promise you, friend, that you are meant to enjoy this life and create an impact. Each and every one of us has it in us to change not just our own lives, but the lives of others. If you don't use that power, then you're being selfish. Explore the gifts you were given. Use them and share them. Encourage and inspire others to do the same. You guys, we can create a movement if we all do this. A movement in which everyone in the world is doing what they love while making money doing it, and ultimately bringing happiness into all of our lives. We deserve this. I deserve it. You deserve it. And we should go after what we want in life. It's that simple. I've learned that you're never too old or too young to work for yourself. I know that 39 isn't old, but when I see the 20-somethings who are crushing it in their online business and working for themselves, I get a twinge in my gut that I wish I'd done something similar all those years ago. I wish I'd started on this new journey sooner than I did. But the truth is, I had to be where I was to recognize what I wanted to do, and I'm exactly where I should be. I'm able to build my business using the knowledge, skills, and experiences those 39 years have given me, and you can do the same. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm so grateful for you, this platform, and most importantly, my family. The encouragement that I receive on a daily basis from my husband and those two tiny humans of ours who are elated about hearing Mom on a podcast and claim they'll have one someday as well. Thank you for joining me on this journey, for sitting with me in my closet this past year, and for listening to what I have to say. I can't wait to see what the next year brings and to continue sharing my journey with you. I want to celebrate your journeys as well, so please send me an email or a DM and tell me where you are. What are your goals? How can I help you? You are not alone by any means. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, friends. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, and go after your dreams. Start creating your future today.